So this isn't a video that I want to make, but it's a video that I feel like I have to make. Toyota, you had something so great and then you just had to go and ruin it. You were once considered the gold standard for reliability, especially for your off-road trucks and SUVs. But now look, we got lawsuits, we got recalls, and we got prices that are out of this world. And now I can't believe I'm asking this question, but is buying a Toyota truck even a good idea anymore? You are not gonna wanna miss this one because today we are hurting some Toyota fanboy feelings. What's up, y'all? Matt McAdam here, aka Desert Chief, only on Driving Lines Chasing Dust. Back at it again with an opinionated yet informative video for you guys about Toyota reliability and how it is in the toilet. But before we dive into this episode, I want to make sure that I say up front that although I'm a proud owner of a Ford Bronco Raptor these days, ever since I saw Iron Man Stewart flying across the Baja Desert in a Toyota truck, I've been in love with Toyota off-road vehicles. In fact, before I could even drive, I wanted one. My first truck was a Toyota Tacoma. I've since owned probably over a dozen Toyota off-road trucks and SUVs. And one of the best parts about owning a Toyota is that you are confident that you can go anywhere and you can drive that thing for literally 300, 400,000 miles without any major issues. And probably 20 years from now, you could give it to your kid and it would drive just as fine as it did the day that you bought it. And that's why we call it the Toyota reliability argument. With just a few exceptions over the years, most of their trucks and SUVs like the Land Cruiser, the Tacoma, the 4Runner, they've all been completely bulletproof options and definitely a good value to purchase because you know it's just going to run forever. And there's all kinds of consumer data and historical evidence that proves that once you're a Toyota owner, when it comes time to buying a new vehicle, you are more likely to go then and buy a new Toyota truck. So what exactly is going on with Toyota these days? Well, for one, they're having a lot of issues with recalls. In May of 2024, there was an engine debris recall that affected the Tundra and the Lexus LX models due to a possible engine contamination, and that could lead to stalling or rough engine performance, all kinds of issues that are critical when you're out there on the trail. You don't want these problems within your engine. Now, this forced Toyota to recall over 100,000 vehicles for a complete engine swap. Do you realize how massive of an operation that is? That is such a huge oversight that they are now having to recall 100,000 vehicles and change all of their engines. But their problems don't stop there. The new 4th gen Tacoma that was just released, now we're seeing them out on the streets. Well, they're having problems too. There is now a class action lawsuit that alleges the 2024 Tacoma or the 4th gen Tacoma's transmission, both manual and automatic, has early stage failures, with customers reporting issues like harsh shifting, unexpected transmission damage within just a few months of ownership. Now, of course, there's a warranty period, but imagine if your warranted transmission that they just replaced without actually fixing or addressing the issue with the part itself gives you problems when you're out of warranty. That is going to be a very costly repair, likely to be about $5,000 or maybe even more. So the lawsuit is basically just there to say, hey, Toyota, you guys can't just keep replacing transmissions that are failing with new transmissions that are also likely to fail. You got to fix this problem. Now, they haven't issued a recall yet for this transmission. It's still just a TSB for the ones that do have problems. There is a bulletin in there for the service writer to look at and see that, yes, there is a problem that Toyota has documented. But they need to make these changes for them to be fixed. There was a certification scandal that Toyota had to endure earlier this year as well. In this scandal, Toyota actually admitted to fraudulently testing their vehicles. I mean, that's pretty huge. It went so far that the higher ups actually committed to spending more money and human resources so that they can hire people that are more trustworthy. That's just another example of a big black mark on their once untouchable reputation. So this leads me into my next point. Has Toyota shifted their priorities? Now, this is just my opinion. I'm entitled to it, and you guys can call me out all you want, but I'm giving it to you up front straight. In the 1980s, if you bought a Toyota pickup with a 22 RE engine in it, that thing is probably still running. In 2001, if you were going to buy a Tacoma with the 3.4 liter 5V ZFE engine in it, you would also probably still have a running truck that just gets you to work and back every day. Hell, even in 2010, if you were to buy a Tacoma with a 1GR FE in there, V6, reliable as all heck, that truck's still running on the road today too. In fact, the reason why so many of my friends in high school had Toyota pickups and SUVs was because their dad bought one 20 years ago and they just passed it on to the kid because the truck was getting old and he turned 16 years old. My whole point is that this is not a thing anymore. Toyota is not building vehicles to last 20 years anymore. They're probably not even building vehicles to last 10 years anymore. And where my opinion comes in is because if I was the CEO of Toyota and I was building vehicles for people, realizing they're keeping them for 10, 15, 20 years, I would start thinking to myself, what could I do to get that guy back in here to buy another car every 5 years? Because then I make more money. If you think about Toyota as the company, it needs to make money for its shareholders. That is what companies do. And they don't make money from people keeping their trucks for 20 years. They make money from people coming in every 5, 7 years, buying a new Toyota because they're so loyal, because their Toyota has been so great to them and everybody tells them how great Toyotas are, and they're gonna buy another Toyota because the last 30 years they've been driving Toyota vehicles. That is what a real true Toyota fan looks like. They've enjoyed that reputation for so long that it's kept people coming back to their stores to buy more trucks. But now they're building, engineering, developing these vehicles not to last that long so that people can come back and buy a new car in 5 years when they feel like this thing's kind of getting old. It's starting to fall apart around the edges a little bit. And there's no argument here against profitability from repeat sales. I mean, that is exactly what Toyota wants to get to. I think that is what they're trying to shorten the time horizon on, is getting somebody back into their dealerships to trade in their 5-year-old Toyota Tacoma for a new one. And what's funny is everybody else is doing the exact opposite. They're like, oh, hey, we're Ford, we are Chevrolet, we are Jeep. We need to make our vehicles more reliable so that people keep buying them after they buy one. Because oftentimes you buy a Ford, it gives you so many problems that, oh crap, I'm not gonna buy another one. I'm gonna go buy something more reliable. They were losing sales to Toyota because of their reliability. And now it's like the reverse is happening. You have Ford fans who are going like, man, I got 150,000 miles on this EcoBoost and there's nothing going wrong with this thing. I myself have 38,000 miles on a Bronco Raptor, and not just street miles, very harsh desert miles all across the Baja Peninsula, all over the Western United States, beating the absolute crap of that truck. You guys have seen it on this channel before. And I have only been to the dealership 3 times for oil changes, and that is it. I have not had a single other issue go wrong with that truck to date in 3 years of ownership. Now I get it, that's not 20 years from now, but I'm just saying that Ford is taking steps in that direction to make their vehicles more reliable so that people consider them as an option. So while Toyota is leaning away from their reliability, all the other brands are leaning into their reliability. And that's why I think that so many competitors are taking business away from previous Toyota owners, like myself. And my last point is probably the most annoying one. They are demanding way higher prices these days. So not only are you getting a vehicle that is less reliable than its predecessor and is riddled with problems like transmission failures and engine failures, and then it worries you about what's going to happen in 10 or 20 years from now, or can you even keep a truck for that long anymore? But now you're going to be paying way more for it than you would have 5 years ago. I mean, the Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro is 70 grand MSRP. That is just wild. And it could have a transmission in it that is going to blow up as soon as the warranty period is up. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm gonna go buy a Toyota, I wanna make damn sure that that thing is gonna run for 10 more years, especially if I'm paying 70 grand for it. It just sets a really bad precedent, and it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths when they know that, like, oh man, Toyota's not really what they used to be like they were back in the 80s and 90s. It's just, the brand is headed in this direction where people are going to start losing faith. And I think a lot of enthusiasts are, because now I see so many more people who are willing to go buy a Ford Raptor for all the other performance upgrades and all this other stuff that they get for about the same kind of money. That's pretty crazy to me that many people are moving from a brand like Toyota to a brand like Ford. Heck, even the Colorado ZR2 Bison is literally just taking people away from the Tacoma. And then furthermore, what does this mean for Toyota's resale value going forward? Typically, Toyota's had the highest resale value out of any auto manufacturer in the world, but I wonder if these recent problems they're having with their manufacturing is going to affect that. But of course, this is just my opinion, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Do you think that Toyotas are just as reliable as they once were, given some of these manufacturing issues, and given the increase in price lately? Do you still think that Toyotas are a good value? I'm just really curious if any of you out there feel the same way that I do about this. And before we wrap things up, I just want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to Driving Lines so that you never miss another episode of Chasing Dust. Thanks for sticking around, guys. This has been your host, Matt McAdam, aka Desert Chief, only on Driving Lines Chasing Dust. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is Matt from Chasing Dust. Be sure to hit that subscribe button because Driving Line's creating all kinds of awesome content for gearheads just like you. I'll see you guys out there.